Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. I'm on to start doing a bit of ephemera with the digitals that I got from Whichcraft Do You Do for the design team project for November. So I am doing a Christmas journal. I was going to do a couple, but I've got a bit of a late start this month, so I'm working on one. We'll see how we go. So I'm using these little holly leaves. I've got a pile of them here. I cut about half of them out, or not even quite half, I don't think. So you get heaps on the one page. And I have just printed them out on my photo mat, so it's just thin photo mat. And I'm just inking around the edge of these at the moment. So I'll finish this last one. I'm just using my ground espresso. I'm liking this at the moment. It's nice, dark and grungy. So just going around the edges like this. And I'm going to try something I haven't tried before. So disclaimer, it might not work. So we'll see. But I thought I would give it a go. So I'm going to do some heat embossing. I have heat embossed about twice. But I've only done it with stamped images, so this is a bit different. But I have seen people heat emboss die cuts and that sort of thing, and I thought it might look really cool on these holly leaves. Now I have used the distress ink, which is water activated, so it might smudge a bit with the Versamark, and I might ruin my Versamark stamp pad with the distress ink, but oh well. I'm willing to give it a go and make some sacrifices here. So I've got my Versamark here. So what I'm going to do is pat my holly leaves onto the Versamark and dip them into my, I've got some clear embossing powder here. Now this one I got from the secondhand store for $1. So that was good value. And then I have my heat tool here to do my embossing with. So we'll give that a go. So when I do my embossing, I like to just use a this wooden chopping board underneath. And I do have some of my baking paper, which I thought I can just put my embossed pieces on afterwards while they're cooling down. And I've got my tweezers. I think these are like heat proof enough to use to hold the bits so I don't burn my fingers. So that's the plan. I'm a bit fumbly, so hopefully it'll go okay. So I'm going to tip all the powder into my little container here. I probably could have done with an even smaller container, but this will do. I've got this little spoon. It's just a takeaway spoon thing that I can use to scoop my powder up. All right. I think I know what I'm doing. Good luck. Here goes nothing. All right, so now I know that some people do a bit of a process line, which I might afterwards, but I might just give one a go, see how it goes, and then we can try a process line afterwards. So I'm just going to press this down onto my stamp pad and then pick it up, put the lid on, and then just coat it, knock the extra off. That's not looking too bad. And then get our heat gun going. Just warm it up a bit. I'm going to go underneath a bit first. Oh yeah, that's working nicely. And then I have seen people go again in with their embossing powder and do a bit of a double coat. Now I don't think I heated mine up enough to make it real sticky, but that'll do. Don't think I got the best coat on, but I'm actually really happy with what's happening here, so we'll try and do better with the next one. I'm not sure that I got... Oh yeah, I love the outside of that. Hang on. Switch this off. Don't know if you can see. I don't think I got much of my stamp pad in the middle there, but I actually don't mind because just around the edges especially, it's very glossy and beautiful. And there's a few little dots of gloss. So I actually really, really like that effect. So I'm quite happy just with it like that, even if it doesn't cover the whole lot. So I'm going to put that down if I can. So much for non-stick tweezers. I think I've got a bit of glue on there that it's sticking to. Oh yeah, it took some of the print off too. That's a shame. Okay, let's try again. Take 2. So let's give this a bit of a press down. We'll use the tweezers to coat it at least. Now, I'll let it go, I think. Oh, that's the problem, is it's going to blow away, so let's just hold it. Oh, I like that look, actually. Oh. Up. All right, I think that'll do. Now that's really cool because it's just looking like glistening dewdrops, really. If you see that, I actually really like that. So that'll do. I don't think it's whether I've overheated it and that's why it's like that, but I don't care because I actually really, really like that look. So I'll just keep going with that, I think. I think just the one dip will be plenty. So I have my leaves here all nice and dry. So I'll put a few on this tile and lift them up and hopefully you'll be able to see them a bit better. I love the way they've turned out. They're spotty. As I said, I'm not very experienced, so I need a bit more practice with this, but I actually love the effect that's on them. Obviously didn't get the ink over the whole leaf, therefore the powder didn't stick over the whole lot, but that's all right. I actually think it looks better than if it had, because it looks like dewdrops on the leaf. And I'll put some of the plain leaves next to it so you can see the difference. Wasn't it fun though, watching the leaves gently blow in the breeze? Yeah, so sorry about the shadows, but you can sort of see the glistening there. Just lovely. So I really like the way they've turned out. And the good thing is they're still rather thin in that as well, and pliable. So they're going to be great little decorations to add to my journal. Just adds something a little extra. So I'm very happy with them. That one's where the tweezers stuck to a bit of the embossing and just took a bit of the print off. I can still use it. I could stick that bit underneath something. So now the next little embellishment I want to get on with involves these little round embellishments. I got a pile of these, all of these ones, but I thought we'll just work with these two for now. And I thought we'd make some little sort of like dog tag dangle embellishment things. And I want to make them a little bit thicker, so I'll back them onto some cardboard. Unfortunately, they're not quite the same size as any of my punches or dies. What I will do firstly though is just cut some of this. I'll just cut the length of it off. And I'll cut 4 sort of squares. And I'll stick 2 together like that for each of my circles. We'll make sure they're going to fit on. Yes, they are. So we will do that. Glue. Not too much glue, Nat. Spread it out a bit. We will stick our little circles on top. Then the not fun part is I need to cut these out. That one's even worse. Alright, it'll do. Okay, so I've got the back like that. It's just giving it a bit more dimension, I suppose you'd say. Now, I'll grab my ink. And I'll just go around the edge again. I have inked around the edge of the paper top already, which I didn't really need to because we're doing it again here anyway. Now, with all of these embellishments, including these, all the cutouts that I've done out of the embellishment kit, what I did with them all was just get some tea and put it in a spritzer bottle, and I just spritzed them all with a bit of tea just to dull them a little bit, and that worked quite nicely. So because I did print them on the inkjet, so I was a bit worried that it might bleed a little bit, but it didn't because I didn't wet them too much. I just spritzed them with the tea and they came up really nicely. That looks quite nice. So it's sort of just giving it a bit of colour around those white edges as well as on the back a bit. It's very not round, but that doesn't matter. You could always use scan and cut and do some circles that size or whatever. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is grab my crocodile. Just put my scissors away. Try and keep my desk clean for a change. And I might use the little hole punch here. And I will do a hole around the top. Ooh. I think that'll be all right. Should probably be putting a little pencil mark. will do. Like that. They look pretty cute just as is, don't they? Probably don't even need to do the next step, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want to see how it turns out. Now, the next thing I've got is my Mod Podge, Dimensional Magic. I haven't used this for ages, so we'll see how we go. And I have a skewer because I find that easier to help me hang on to bits and pieces. What I will do, though, is just try and ink. It's very hard to get ink around the hole. Just a little bit. Especially on this side where the white of the cut paper is. Now the ink might bleed a bit too with the Mod Podge, but we'll see. You never know until you try. Now there's a fair bit of area to cover here, but we will see how it goes. I've done this before with little buttons that I've made. That I haven't used it for a long time. But I do like, the idea of me doing this on the tile is so that when I'm finished I can just pick up the tile, go and put it somewhere to let it dry. I might let it dry overnight. It does say 3 hours on the bottle, but I'd rather be safe here and let it dry overnight. So, but yeah, with the skewer I can hang on to it and move them around if I want while I'm putting it on. Also, I found when I was doing the buttons, I had the little button holes, and sometimes they'd get covered up by the Mod Podge, and I was able just to pull little bits of Mod Podge out with the tip of the skewer. So we'll try not to cover up our hole. So I'm just going to go back and forth. There's a bubble there. I'll try and pop the bubble. Sort of just paint it on with the top. Just use my finger for now. Try and get a smoothish edge. Sticky stuff. Just sort of move it around with the tip. If you think it needs it in any areas or you see any bubbles, you can pop them. Okay, I think I'll leave that one now. It's a little bit cloudy, but that should clear up as it dries. Okay, I think that will do. I'll just find the lid. And I'll bring it up and show you. I'm sure I've missed some bits, but it doesn't matter. The light's not very good at the moment. It's probably the time of the night, but you can see how it's coated. So I'll leave that to dry overnight. I reckon I can see a little bit just there that I might not have got, but I don't mind. I think they'll look really cool anyway. So we'll let them dry overnight and we'll have a look at them tomorrow and see how they've turned out. So I'm going to go put them somewhere where I won't bump them now. So I'm going to start on my next little embellishment, but I thought I'd better show you these first now that they've dried, and I love them. There's a few bubbles and missed bits or whatever, and you might be able to see the ink. I did ink around the little hole there, and that was possibly activated a bit by the glaze. But I actually like that. It makes it look really nice and vintage. Now, because I did make them quite thin and I might not have glued them down properly, the picture had lifted a little bit on the edges in a few spots, so I just re-glued it. And I just bent it back a little bit so that they straightened out a bit. But I love them because they actually look quite vintage and nice. So they're little charms or danglies or whatever. So I'll be able to hang them somewhere, and I love the way they look. I'll get one that hasn't been glazed. Dimensional Magic. Should use the proper term so you know. And you can just see the difference there of the inking and the Dimensional Magic. So you can get it a lot neater. I think these are quite big area to cover. When you do littler buttons and that, you can get it quite smooth and that. Haven't used it for a while, but I really love the way they turned out. I think they look gorgeous with a bit of ribbon in there or something. So that is those. I'll put them away to put in my journal somewhere. So what I'd like to work on today is the ephemera kit came with a whole lot of tickets. There's big tickets and then there's smaller ones. But I want to work on a set of these big tickets today. So I've grabbed some tickets and I've grabbed this. It's packaging. It's like card. Yeah, it's sort of like card, but it's not the thickest. It's got a fair bit of give in it, because I don't want it to be too thick. I did grab some of this, but this is a bit thicker and not quite as dark as I wanted. So I'm going to use these ones. So I folded these up so they'll pull down like that. So of course that's easy. You just fold it that way. Is that right? No, it's not. Don't listen to me. Fold it that way. No? Yes. Fold it up that way and then fold that one down that way. And then you can just pull it down like that. So I thought what I'd do is make a little cover for this. So it's like a little ticket book. So I will cut a length of this card and fold it to make a bit of a cover for that, I think. There will do. I love it. I sit here and I just chuck what I'm not using on the corner, on the floor, and I end up with the most massive pile of stuff. And then I better do some sort of measuring. Now, inches, not inches. Our ticket is about 1. If I go, I'll leave a bit of room either side. 1 3/4 inches, I think will be fine. So that edge should be straight. So 1 3/4 is there. Now I might just cut the top off because it's a bit bent. So we want double that, but I also think I might leave a bit up the top. Maybe something like that. So that is about 3 3/4. No, 3, yeah, 3 3/4. So that would be 7 1/2, I think. We'll soon find out. So cut this at 7 1/2. Bring it down so you can see. And that's going to be the basis of our little ticket book. Now I've got a little scoreboard here. Not that you need a scoreboard, but it does make such a nice crisp fold. So we want to score this at the 3 3/4 mark. Make our peek into a river or whatever people say. Must have been a bit off with my measurement there, but that's all right. Make it even. Right, so in essence, I don't think that's going to look too big in that. So a little ticket book will go in there like that. So with the piece that's going to be the top piece, make it this one. Oh, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? Let's have a look. So it's 1, 2, 3/8 around about. Just going to give that a score. And that way it'll make it easier to flip it up and down. Like that. Looks a bit more like a ticket book thing then too, doesn't it? So I'll grab me crop-a-tar and just use the little hole. Now, do I want to embellish up there at all? I don't think so. I like the look of this cardboard. Is that centre? Possibly. That looks good to me. Good enough. All right, that is a start. So we should do some inking before I forget. So now we want to stick something on the front. So that ticket strip will be in there. And I thought, well, what better to put on the front then? Another one of the tickets, because at least we know it's going to fit nicely and we can chop it down if we want to. Do we want anything behind? Maybe just some stamping. The old generic text stamp. So I'll grab something to put behind this so I don't stamp on my mat. And I've got my stamp ready, I think. Yes. Beautiful. Not going to bother with the back. That'll do. I am arguing in my head whether I rip around Santa or not, but I think I won't. I think I will leave it just as is. So we'll stick that down. Then we can figure out what we're going to do with this one, which we must ink around as well. So, as I said before, I have splattered all of the ephemera with tea stain, and with the tickets I've done the back as well. Just used a spray bottle with some tea stain in it. So now we can put our little tickets in. Hang on. Some double-sided tape here. Make sure it's going to be the right way. Got to double check these things. A bit crooked, but oh well. Don't I say that about everything? If I don't like this, I can always add glue and stick it down properly after. Now make sure we get it where we want it placement-wise. That'll work. So then it will just flip open and it will just flip down like that. Okay, so the next thing I can do is just stick some glue, put some glue there. Could use my double-sided tape, but I did stick an envelope journal together with double-sided tape, and about 2 years later it all come apart. So if I use that, I like to use glue with it. So might as well just use glue. I don't think I want to squidgy anything in between there. I was going to embellish this more, but I might leave it for now unless I find something perfect, because I probably will stick a dangle of some sort. Bulb pin and something might look nice through there. I'll find a bulb pin, just not sure what else I want to dangle on it just at this point in time. Okay, so after much ado in my scrap lace bin, I decided on just this little tiny piece of vintage lace. That'll do. It's not too offensive for me, and you still can see the hole. I like seeing the hole there that we punched, so I think that will do for that. Now, the next thing I thought we might do, probably the last thing actually, because I'm quite happy with that the way it is I thought maybe we should put something on here. So I might just add a bit of pianola paper just to break up the sort of monotony of the brownness, even though I really like it. So I might just rip some of this out. Just considering which way I want these lines going. Dry a bit, and then we'll be all done, I think. I was trying to use something that didn't cover up his face, but when it falls down it covers up his face anyway, but that's all right. We've seen enough of Santa anyway. Okay, so I have some of the words here that I've cut out that I think would be appropriate for a Christmas journal. Might start with the word magical. Get my ink ready. So I'll just ink around this, of course. That's darkening it up, isn't it? And then I found this gorgeous little tiny piece of fabric, which I love. So I think I might back it onto that firstly. So I might just chop that down. right size. Trim that off. I'll get my fabric scissors, they cut a lot better. Don't care about fraying this too much. Then I've got some of these other gorgeous bits and pieces of fabric here to play around with. Just a bit of the hem of a wedding, under a wedding dress skirt piece. Looks quite nice, layered a bit. So I might do something like that. And I've got some tulle, we've got some shining stuff.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me.
Okay, I'll just leave it like that and I'll put a few stitches over it with the sewing machine. So I'll put that one to the side and we'll work on another little one. I think I'll do one more and then this video will be way long enough. So I might use some of this doily for one, why not? And we will use Joy, Wish, Spirit, Sparkle. Maybe we'll do Sparkle or Wonder. I'll go Wonder. Okay, so I'm going to rip this because I can and ink it up. So versatile, these words, and there's heaps of them, so, and in all the different colours and backgrounds, so they're going to be heaps handy for all my different projects. Oop, dropsies. It's getting a bit late here now, so now do I want to do a whole doily? I'm thinking I could do a doily tuck spot. Thinking if I fold this, can I make it even, or else you're going to see the whites? Because that would make it a bit stronger. Could always ink so it doesn't look white through there. see how that goes. It's mainly around the holy bits, I suppose. Folded the doily together. Yeah, that's a bit better because you do see it, it won't go completely even together. Nearly does. I think we'll fold that one. Could make it a flip up or something. A flip up pocket. Do we go that far? Will that make it too breakable? I don't know. Why do I do these things to myself? Anyway, I'm just going to ink over here because I can. I'm messing it up now, but that's all right. Just makes it look vintage, doesn't it, guys? It's a good excuse when you say that. Which would mean I'd have to ink all this side if we did make it a flip up. And then it would look really murky. So I don't know if I should do that, but yeah, because I've made it really dark. The idea was to stick it down so it was double thickness, so as a pocket it's nice and sturdy to slip stuff behind. But they are pretty sturdy anyway. So I'd stick it around down the bottom there on the one side, and then this could flip up. You could write in there or stick something in there, and then we want to embellish that with our wonder. And, oh, blow it away. We do have other stuff. Might just stick it together because, you know, that's a bit murkier than what I really want in this journal. Haven't really grunged it up much. So let's go around here. Put that together. That'll just be a nice little sturdy tuck spot now. Okay, you can tell your desk is getting a bit too messy when you can't find your lids to your glue. Alright, now it doesn't matter how much stuff I put on it, as long as I can tuck stuff behind it. Still think it's a bit much, so I might just put some glue down. chop off any bits I don't want after. Still pretty bulky there. Definitely has to sit up like that. Do I want to sew around that one? Doesn't really need it, that one. Could just do one line, 2 lines. All right, so I might go and sew and come back show you that, and then we'll put it on that one, then we'll be done. So I did just go to the sewing machine and sewed up the top and bottom of the word there. My sewing machine had a mishap, but that's all right. And then I did the same on this one and just sewed over this a bit so it holds this bit of trim on as well. So they're just about ready to go. Now this one, I think I want to cut this down a little bit and just fray it again. I think that will do. So that one's ready to put on a page or embellish a tuck spot or something like that. So that one I will just leave as is for now. Now this one we're going to put a little word on. I think we'll put him on pretty well. Like that. So I'll do that now. And I might actually use my Helmer's glue because I'll get a bit more glugginess and thickness of glue on there. Though it can go through, so it can go through the fabric, so I'll try and get it mainly where the paper bit is. Unfold that bit there, and it will just help hold that twine on as well that way. And then I'm just going to trim the bits of twine up here that are annoying me. Don't mind a bit sticking up there, but we do have to use it as a tuck spot, so it might get a bit too annoying. I might see if I can tuck. Yeah, that should be all right. So I'm just going to clean up my desk, and I'll come back and we'll do a quick recap of what we've made. We have made these beautiful little holly leaf embellishments by heat embossing on the top of them, which I love. Now, all the kits will be that I've used will be linked down below, as will the link to Whichcraft Do You Do's shop. So you can go check out the kits that I'm using for these projects. And we've also got 2 little dangles. I want to make some more of those because I really love them. And we've got our 2 little word embellishments. This one will probably be a little tuck spot somewhere. And that I can add just on a page or to a pocket or something. And then we've got our little ticket booklet that opens up and we can pull our little tickets down. So that was heaps of fun making all of those. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be on again soon. And I think the next video will decorate some of the pages in the journal that I'm making. So be good, have fun, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.